Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Faith Over Fear podcast. I have with me someone that I look up to and is a major influencer in the real estate market, and I'm excited to introduce my friend. Christin, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I am Christin Rachelle, real estate broker here, broker owner here
Yes,
in Houston.
let them know.
And social media influencer.
Yes, I love it. So funny thing is, I've been admiring this woman and watching her Instagram and being in her DMs for forever. So I'm super excited to get the opportunity to speak with her. I love how she posts about Bible quotes, and you really get into the community about faith and about being an entrepreneur. And you're the OG of the real reels. I'm gonna just let everyone know this is the OG of the real reels.
I'm glad someone said it.
Like, I needed to say, I needed to clarify. In Houston, this is the one who originally started the reels. Like, I saw her go into always the houses, and she would make this cool content, and I was always like, oh my god. And then I started seeing everyone doing it, and I was like,
but you know what? I would receive so much hate for my reels.
I know.
Because, so when I was in fitness, I would model. So when I got into real estate, I was like, okay, I can model my homes.
Yes.
And I was already really good at videography. So I said, okay, let me put two and two together, start making the reels. And reels is really how I grew my following. But oh my gosh, being a woman and being innovative and
being
starting
beautiful.
something, being before your time, you get so much hate from she's only selling homes because she's beautiful.
She's pretty.
And
She doesn't have a brain.
And one thing I've never been is someone who follows trends. I've always been in my own lane, even when it's weird, even when it's not cool. So to see everyone else able to do it without the hate now, because it's so normal. It's
now it's a thing. Oh, now you can't go
see.
to a realtor's page without seeing them do the whole opening
and
the door. And you started it, I remember.
Yeah, and I've tapered back on it quite a bit because I've just never been someone who wanted to be like everyone else. I'm so glad that everyone is positive and confident in themselves to do it now. But I've kind of tapered back to, okay, if clients want to work with me, it's because I'm going to show them a little bit more personality.
Yes.
So I've tapered back from the real estate reels a little bit. I'll throw some in there every now and then, but not as much as I used to.
I love it though, because now we get a day in the life. Now we get a real insight. Because what people don't understand is that we do so much and we're moving. You being a broker too, you take care of everyone on your team. Mm-hmm. So I can imagine your day to day is every day's different. Mm-hmm. You never have it. I don't think there's ever a day where we have the same day twice.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think people don't realize we're out networking, we're out having lunches, we're out meeting people, you got to do walks. Like all the things that you do. I'm in the title side, so I stay in the office and I help y'all close, but you as a realtor, you're actually out there getting these clients under contract. And what's one of the stereotypes you think has been that you had to really overcome besides social media as a realtor and being a woman, I think? What is one of the things that you think has been kind of the hardest for you?
So I will never forget, I was at a dinner table at Steak 48 with 10 men, and there was a guy that was starting something similar to Herbalife. I won't say what the name is, but you spray the thing in your mouth. And I was with him as his date, and one of the gentlemen, multimillionaire, recognized me from social media. And he was like, hey, I just want to give you props. You're doing so well. You're out here grinding. You're out here hustling. And the guy I was on a date with was so intimidated by that. He said, oh, she's only successful because how she looks. She's only successful because she models homes.
I would not go on a second date.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, thank God.
There was no second date.
Was he blocked? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're going to see the success.
But I had to tell him, okay, on social media, you guys see the reels, you see the pictures, but you don't see what all that goes into it. From the moment a client emails you or calls you, that's not where the job ends. And for me to have my business, which is 100% referral based, you have to be good at what you do to get there.
Amen.
And this is my going on 8.5, 9th year in real estate. So to still be 100% referral based, 100% social media based, and repeated clients, there's something I'm doing right that has absolutely nothing to do with looks.
Exactly. It's the knowledge you provide for them, and also the customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's you're giving them that one touch that they're not going to get anywhere else. Whether it be you being there for them from beginning to end, you providing them the content, like they love you, and that's the loyalty. Is I think that a lot of people think that, I can steal away people's clients or I can steal away their ideas, but I think it boils down to, are you doing it with integrity and with passion?
Oh, girl, let me tell you. So one of my agents, my best friend Nigel.
Yes.
Everybody.
I know. I see him also. I know Nigel because of you. He's like my friend now.
It is so funny. I was showing a house to my client Ashley, and Nigel was with me. And Ashley walks in the house. She goes, "Oh, hey, Nigel," and just keeps walking. And he's like, "I guess I'm famous too."
Yeah.
But Nigel got his real estate license. He joined Christin Rachelle group, and he got his first deal, $550,000 deal. And he goes to this listing agent, and he owns but is listing, one of those like 6 townhomes on one lot
in one
situation.
Lot, yeah.
So
where you can't even back out sometimes.
Yeah, so he submits an offer on the property. They're in negotiations. The listing agent sends over the contract. I read the contract. I told my client, I said, "Hey," I said, if this house isn't appraised, and I didn't think it would, your earnest money, I said, let's go back to the negotiation table. He goes on a Saturday to the house just to make sure, I want to walk the house again, see if I want the listing agent, just so happened to be there. He told him, "Okay, I'll agree to these numbers and send you the contract to sign." Put himself as a buyer's rep. And, and blocked me and Nigel from our phones. And this literally happened last weekend. And Nigel got cut out of his commission because this listing agent, and which I don't understand. You have hundreds of listings all over Houston. That little $10,000 commission wasn't gonna hurt his. But Nigel, he's a property manager at an apartment complex. Yeah. This is his first deal. It would have meant so much more. And the client, he was like, "Hey, I had no clue. Now I'm unrepresented. I have questions. They're not being answered." So, choosing a realtor and who you decide to go with is so much more than looks.
Correct.
It's that integrity. Do you have a sense of, right from wrong?
Correct.
Because wrong is wrong.
And we all know what wrong is. You have that feeling.
How do you sleep at night?
Correct. Right? And then we're in a real estate. I don't think people understand. Everyone knows everyone here. Like, at least, if you're known, you're known. So it's like, do you really want your name to go down like that? Like, word of mouth is big. Like, you mess over one agent, everyone's going to hear about it. And then you're losing out on properties. Yeah. You know what I mean? That agents could be bringing you offers, and now they don't want to work with you because of that.
Right.
That is so scary. I don't think people understand how grimy and evil other people can be.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I'm a little naive too, especially with dating, because I'm such a good heart.
Me too.
I have such a pure, genuine heart. I go above and beyond, whether it's a friend, an agent, a stranger on the street.
Me too.
And when you're like that, you expect everyone else to be like that. And when they're not, you're so hurt, you're so disappointed. But we have to realize it's about to be 2024.
Yep.
In this day and age, to have a good heart,
it's
good
very
mind.
Rare. Girl, and every time I see you post, like, I'm glad that you touched it. I ask God for a lot more discernment. And it's a word that I just started using a lot this year because I started the new year. I had to do a clean slate because I went through an ugly breakup and we were in the same industry. And it was like, people always like to assume. And I never have to tell my story because I know God and I know I'm a woman of faith. So to me, it was just rebuilding myself after that image was hard. But I asked God for discernment, and you'd be surprised now how quickly I am getting it. Like he will show me people's true colors so fast that I would be like, sometimes I get scared because it's like I just met this person and you're already showing me like thank you, whereas it would have taken me before 3 or 4 months. And like you said, we have genuine hearts, so it's like how do we stay true to ourselves in a world where it's like it's glorified to be evil? Like how do we stay true to our cores? How do we I remember you posting Bible and having to defend yourself over that. Like, how dare they? Like, it touched me because it was in a moment where I was going through my own devotionals, and like seeing you use your platform for that inspired me so much because it was like I want my kid to go on here and be like, damn, like she's I showed my daughter, I literally showed her, and I got the pink Bible too, everything, and I make her now read it, and I'm like, this is who I want you to be, genuinely, I showed her, and I was like, because damn, they even gave you hate for that.
Yeah, and if you follow my stories, so I've always been close to God, But I went to Hope City for quite
Yes.
some time, for years, and when Pastor Jeremy was kind of pushed out of the church,
Yeah, I remember.
it hurt my soul.
Yeah.
And I left Hope City, and I was kind of away from the church for about a year and a half, and in that year and a half, I became more relational than religious.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm back in church, but I was more relational than religious, and I had moved from Katy to the Galleria, so I was like, oh, I'm close to Lakewood, I'm gonna go to Lakewood. And
Yeah.
my first day going back to church, I rededicated my life to Christ, and I went to the bookstore at Lakewood, and I wanted a Bible. I have tried to read the Bible so many times and did not understand it.
Same.
And I saw this New Living Translation, and so when I got home and I sat down and I read it, I was like, wow, I actually understand this. And it made me read more, and it made me read more, and I realized a lot of the condemning attitude and the you can't do this and you can't do that attitude was in the Old Testament.
Correct.
But in the New Testament, all you have to do is accept Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And you're forgiven.
Correct.
So it kind of changed my dynamic and my look on how I live my life. As long as I'm doing right, as long as I'm close to Christ, as long as I'm living for Christ, that's okay with me. And his hand on my life and the blessings that he's brought into my life kind of co-signs that. So whenever I do go on vacations and I'm in a swimsuit at the beach and I post about it, it's for you guys to see me living life, not to be seen in a swimsuit. And when I was in Cabo, girl, when I was in Cabo a few weeks ago, some man went on Trek's website, got my phone number, and texted me and was like, you're a disgrace. We talked about you in Bible study. You need to stop talking about the word of God on your platform. You're in a swimsuit at the beach. And I told him, I said, but I'm using my platform to spread the word of God. What are you doing?
What are you doing? Like, are your followers doing the same? No.
Because if isn't that what we're supposed to, isn't that what a church is? Isn't that what we're supposed to do as men and women of God, is go spread the gospel?
Correct.
And I'm going to go to the beach on a nice vacation and have fun.
And look good while doing it.
And then I'm going to come home, get in my word, and interpret it on my platform for those who might have been like I was previously and didn't get it and didn't understand it.
Yeah. And I love that you hit that topic. I've been wanting to hit that topic because, like, the amount of hate we get for posting a bikini, mind you, if I was like flat chested with no curviness or nothing, it wouldn't mean anything, because I've seen other realtors like post it, you know, or other people in real estate. But because my body is different, and because I'm a little fuller, and because I have the curves I have, I'm too sexy, or I'm deemed already, oh, it's only because of her sexual appeal, or no, there's an actual brain behind us. Like, we're actually women of integrity. Like, you will never catch us around people that will not meet our standards. You know what I mean? Like we know how to, I know how to have a good time and be a human. Mm-hmm. Like, at the end of the day, we're human beings. Like, I you know, in the Bible, it doesn't say anywhere on there where it says I cannot wear a bathing suit. Mm-hmm. Like, if so pointed out to me, like, let me know the verse right now. But
I mean, if you want to really get into it, he expected us to be naked at first.
Correct. Adam and Eve, baby.
They weren't even supposed to realize they were naked.
The fact that you're thinking wrong is a reflection of your thoughts.
Exactly. And that's something that I really had to kind of understand and come to terms with, because when I first got my platform, it was so many negative opinions, and having so many followers, and not just one platform but two, both TikTok and Instagram. You get so many opinions. I get emails, I get text messages, I
feel you. I get phone calls.
Girl, but I have to realize, like, these people are projecting.
Yes.
They're doing
I
nothing.
love that you said that. Projecting.
Nothing. It honestly has absolutely nothing to do with me.
Nothing. It's their insecurities.
Right.
They're insecure because it's a strong woman that is confident in herself. And it's like, what is wrong? Like, you don't, man, they glorify, they're probably the same men that are then later liking everything on Instagram, following the wrong people, and are married probably.
I was just talking about this on my story.
Like, I swear.
So I was literally just talking about this on my story because I dated someone who has a really, really, really big podcast.
Yeah.
And they would always talk about the type of woman they'd be willing to marry, the type of woman they're not willing to
entertain.
Yeah, that they're willing,
but then end up with the type of woman Girl, that just happened to me recently. Like, how do you want a woman of power, but then end up with someone who has no ambition, who just wants you for your money, and you're okay with that because you get to live your double life. So it's like, when is it our turn for us good women, us 0.00001% of women to win? Like, I don't want to become a Tatiana. Like,
Girl, so my girl best friend, I only have one.
yeah,
She just
because
bought the
girls are
house.
the biggest haters.
Yes, she just bought the house like 5 houses down from me.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, so we're like forever. We're gonna buy the house next to each other
Yeah.
and just like be each other's best friends because dating can be hard, especially when you're a woman of value.
Yes, it's not it.
Because just like they say, there's particular men that are in the 1%, charming, attractive, successful, wants marriage. So there's 1% of men who want that, but there's also 1% of women
who
that
want
are successful, attractive, in church, wanting marriage, wanting. So we both are scarce,
Yes.
and you have to understand that the more that we're going around trying to get approval or trying to fit in into rooms that we just don't fit in, we're gonna have that constant disappointment.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the story of that dad who bought his daughter a classic car for her high school graduation and said, "This is gonna pay for your college. Go sell it." She went to a dealership. They were like, "Oh, this is trash. It's worth nothing." She goes back to her dad crying. "Dad, how could you give me trash?" And he said, "Go to a car club." It was worth $180,000. So it's about who you're putting yourself in front of.
Love that story.
Yes. Do they know your value? Do you know they know your significance? Because if they don't, they're not going to know how to treat you.
I love that because I think a lot of women are going through that right now, and men too. I mean, I think it's both feels. I think we both have to heal internally our masculine and feminine energy. I think there's a lot of scars because I'm gonna be honest. For a while, I was in my masculine, like I'm dominant, I'm the boss lady, I'm this and that. But I want men to know, like, I can be dominant and submissive. Like, I can have that boss mentality when it comes to my business, but when I go home, I want to be that submissive, like, little girl, like, like, take care of me, like, let's go out, And I think they are so scared that we're so boss mentality that we don't know how to switch it on and off.
Yeah.
But we do, we are able to, and I think a lot of men get scared because it's like, damn, she's more mentally powerful than me. Like, how can I measure up to that? That has been my hardest thing in dating. It's like they see me as this like strong woman and so powerful that they don't realize like I have emotions and I have feelings too, and like I have moments where I just want to be submissive and just be hugged and like loved and nurtured. You know what I mean? But it takes the right person.
Who said that success is masculine?
Oh, I like that.
Like, a lot
Change
of
your
us,
perspective.
a lot of, in the past, women didn't have the same opportunities as we do now. And with social media, a lot of men, once upon a time, men were able to get women solely based off of having finances.
Yes.
And now women are coming into this era where we have our own finances. We need you to be emotionally mature. We need you to have integrity. We need you to have your stuff together.
Healed.
Right, and I think a lot of men get it misconstrued because a woman like me, I didn't wake up and say, "Oh, I'm going to be this successful, independent woman."
Yeah, no, we had to figure it out.
I left my mom's house. I had to figure life out, and I was just really good at figuring life out. And I think now I'm not going to allow a man to come into my world and to come into my household and they can't take lead.
Yes.
Because not just anyone can get to where I've gotten myself. So
Amen.
if you're going,
toot that horn because they really can't. I mean, I
I
don't think they understand how successful and how much you've put in the work over these 8 years to become who she really is. Like, she is known in real estate. It's not a joke,
Yeah. So women like me and you, I don't think it has anything to do with masculinity or submissiveness. I think it has to do with when I first started therapy, my therapist said, "You think this is going to make you better?" She said, "You're actually going to be more set apart."
Wow.
Because you're more emotionally mature. Yeah. You know how to handle your emotions. You know how to communicate. You know what to look for. You know what not to look for. You know not to yell. You know not to do this. And a lot of people don't want to do that shadow work.
They don't.
So as long as you're doing the shadow work, you're separating yourself from everyone
I
else.
thought I felt lonely for so long
It's
because
not
it
just
was
you, girl.
okay.
Every woman of value, I say value.
Yes.
Every woman of value that I speak to, like my friend who bought the home 7 homes down from me, she is a director of software engineer. So
Wow, that's beautiful.
she's a director
successful, yeah.
directing mostly male,
Yeah,
you know, and as a black woman at that too,
amazing.
in an industry where there's not a lot of us.
There's not.
Right, but when she goes home, she wants to turn that off. Like, she wants to cook, she wants to cater, she wants to cuddle, she wants to do this.
Yeah, we all do.
But I wish more men, instead of looking at women like us and thinking, oh, I need to conquer her, or oh, I need to bring her down.
Yeah.
They look at it as in, she's an ally to me. She's going to make my life, my career, my finances, my mental state so much better.
Correct.
But I think men,
they run.
Not necessarily run, because what I've experienced is every man that I have dated that is of high value, they want to bring me down to a place they feel that I need to be in. Because the more that they bring me down, the more they feel great about themselves.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And it's a cold world out here for us.
It's cold. Like, I don't think people understand, especially in Houston too. Like, everybody knows everybody. So it's like hard to date a man of value. Like, I don't know where I'm gonna find him. Like, I can go to church, but even at church, I mean, no offense, I love you churchgoers, but some of y'all are the biggest sinners.
Worst.
Those are the worst. Like, I am so scared. I'm traumatized. Like, I'm traumatized by men who live double lives. I'm traumatized. Like, the thing is, I want someone that could be just authentic from beginning to end. I don't want a facade. I don't want for you to give me what you think I want. I want to see who you are and let me make that decision. You know what I mean? Like, let me see how you are when you're angry. Do you attack me? Are you more, what is your love language? Like, I like to observe people, and I just wish, like, I could find someone that was willing to, like, observe me too in a way to find out what I love and what I need. And I think it's hard because a lot of people, they're selfish. They want to pour into themselves. And I saw recently someone said this in a I think it was Drake. I don't know. I went to his concert 2 nights in a row, but he said, my cup is always full, or my cup. No, he said ripple effect. That's what the one he said. So it was like, I want to have a ripple effect to where someone meets me, it's a ripple effect of good energy forever. Like, because they met me in that moment, I had that big of an effect in their life of good energy that even if I'm not there, everything that reminds them of me or after me was a ripple effect. Like, they're, and I think we're that ripple effect. Yeah. Like, I really truly believe it because we're healing, and not everyone, like you said, shadow work is hard.
It's very hard.
It's like you have to tap into, like, okay, as an inner child, inner teen, as a woman, like, there's different stages. What caused me to be attached to a man in this manner, or what caused me to be, you know, like, I'm the type where if I get a couple red flags, I will ghost you.
And I'm the same way, and too much,
yeah, me too.
I recently met someone, and it's so funny because they say that you meet them like when you least expect it. So I had told myself, I was like, I'm done dating. I'm focused on God and really focused on my fitness. And I got a new gym membership at this really nice gym. And this man watched me for a while going in on the treadmill, watching a sermon, going home. And he was so intrigued. He asked him, like, who's this girl? No. And he used to play for the Rockets. Yeah. So found my Instagram, asked me to lunch, and I was like, no, I'm not dating right now. Yeah. Positioned himself. I know it sounds crazy, but to be at the gym when I was at the gym. Yeah. And we ended up going to lunch and have been inseparable since. But
I love that.
Yes, but he doesn't live in town. So when he went in town, like, communication just kind of sucked. So I was like big girl panties, like, hey, if you're not gonna communicate, I just did
that this weekend. Oh my.
Like, go. And he was like, all right, cool. Like, I thought we had but okay. So last night I was like, I'm done. So this morning he texted me and he was like, I hope you have a good day. I said, I thought we were broken up. So I called him and he's like, no, like, this connection means too much. I'll do better. And I think I realized then, okay, girl, slow down on the cutting off. Yeah. But it's also him too lowering that ego and realizing what he has. Like, because I know it's easy for us to say, oh, I can cut you off easy. You're done. Okay, bye, and dip. But it's
I do that a lot.
yes, but there's strength in this relationship is worth the miscommunication and fixing it and
I think that's what we want to hear though as women. Like, hey, I heard you. Let me work on it.
Girl,
like that makes us shut the fuck up. Like, I'm
no,
quiet
for
after,
real.
like, yes sir.
I was just telling my mom, I was like, look, we're both fire signs, we're both
Oh my God, yeah.
and my mom was like, who's gonna be the one to calm down? I said, I guess it gotta be me.
Yeah, we done. The Bible said we gotta calm down now.
So I'm like, okay, calm down with the strong
ghosting.
woman, the pushing away, because I think we just get so scared of getting hurt again. It's easier for us to say, all right, well, this ain't gonna work for me, I'm out.
Because we're ready. I think that's also like my friend, she pointed out, she's like, Mimi, like, you're ready to find something wrong. Like, you're ready to just, and it's because we're so scared when something good comes, we're like, okay, God, what's the joke now? Or like, you know, like, instead of being like, I'm not gonna lie, if you ghost me, like, it happened to me recently. I met someone, we were talking, and then the weekend came, and I was like, okay. So then Sunday was like, hit me up, and I was just so mad. I was like, how dare you? Like, do you not know who I am? like my ego was so hurt.
Girl, that's.
And I acknowledge though that it was my ego, but on top of that, I'm gonna let you know my boundaries. If we're gonna be talking, you can't go missing a weekend. Like, that's, we all live in a society where we have our phone next to us. Like, what image are you trying to give me? You know what I mean? Like, one text or one phone call will never, you know what I mean?
You're never too busy, and that's.
And if you are, then I'm not the one.
Yeah, and like my podcast guy I was dating, girl, I mean, like, love bomb, $2,000 flowers to the house, flying me to Philly.
Those are the scary ones.
Flying me to Philly every week, and we were dating going on 6 months. Came to Houston, did something beautiful for his birthday, and then he went missing for 2.5 months.
The audacity.
And then text me like maybe about 3 weeks ago, I miss you. I said, boy, I'm over, and there's no way
you would never come back into
you
my
will
life.
Never
ever have me
ever. Like, and the fact that people think that they can come into your life and then step out and then come back in on their own terms, like, no, sweetheart.
Access denied. Like, simple as that.
There's a song by Lucky Day called Access Denied. I love that song.
I'm gonna so play it right now.
There's one, Access Denied and Left You on Red.
Oh, I'm gonna be leaving. I leave a lot of people on red. People think, oh, y'all have a lot of followers, y'all DMs are popping. 99.9%. I don't read none of them. Girl. And y'all be talking to yourselves. Like, catch me in the real world. Like, if I meet someone, I want it to be in the real world, and I want it to be like that connection that I believe in, that like instant connection. Like, when you talk to a man and your eyes connect and you're like, he's listening, you know what I mean, versus a man that's just on his phone. Like, I've seen so many people go on dates and they don't even date. Like,
they're just chilling and
I'm like, oh, we're doing that. That ain't me though. Like,
but you also have to realize, women like you and me, when men see our social medias, they don't think, oh, I have good, they think, oh, this woman, okay, let me conquer her.
Yeah, they think it's
we
like a
literally
challenge.
have a target on our backs, and we're over here like, oh,
I'm over here, Delulu is the Salulu.
And he ain't never had no intention on being.
Girl, I think I'm gonna marry everyone I talk to. I'm like, oh, he's
I literally meet someone and I envision us in a house with kids, literally on the first date, and I'm like, okay, this looks right. What's up?
Yeah, me too. I thought I was the only one. I'm like, all right, is he white, husband?
No, but sometimes I have to realize, like with the podcast guy, I had to really get real with myself and say, is it him that I genuinely like, or is it this false reality of the potential that I come up with in my head?
Oh my God, yes.
Yes, and Pastor Jeremy always says you can point the finger, but you have 3 pointing back at you.
Yeah.
And if you're attracting that, if you're dealing with that, if you're dealing with someone who will ghost you, or if you're dealing with a narcissist and you keep welcoming them back in your life, you have to look at you, honey.
Oof. Okay, so let's do some therapy work. Okay, so what do you think is the best shadow work, if you can give some advice to someone who is looking to do that shadow work, and kind of like a little synopsis of what is shadow work?
Okay, so shadow work is, and I'm not like the namaste people.
Yeah,
who really
we're not.
Know
we're just
definition.
Working on ourselves.
But my definition of shadow work are the things in the dark that you don't want anyone else to see, the insecurities, the self-sabotaging. I know a lot of people who procrastinate on a lot of things that are things in your shadow that are keeping you from your light. To me, that's shadow work. Also, changing your subconscious mind. And
Gems.
what really helped me was when I first started real estate at Remax. My team lead told me there's absolutely nothing that I can teach you guys to be successful if you don't believe that you can do it yourself. And you're not, if you don't believe it, if you don't have the confidence to do it, you're not going to get up and do the work.
Yeah.
So she gave us this book, and I give it to all of my agents, called Mirror Work by Louise Hay.
Okay, I'm gonna get that one.
It's a daily devotional. And like on the first day, she tells you to look in the mirror at least 8 times that day and tell yourself, I love you. And you almost want to start crying. And even in the book, she says, are you crying yet? If you are, she said, why is it so hard to tell yourself I love you? You can tell your mom I love you. You can tell your kids I love you. Why is it so hard to tell yourself I love you? So when I started that and went through the whole book, that's when I really started the affirmations and meditating. And, you know, I'll get in the tub with some pink Himalayan salt on a full moon.
On a full moon, and writing down your manifestations. I'm crying right now because it was a lot. I don't think people see like how hard it is to like really mentally change your subconscious to like, instead of words of like you can't, to be able to say you can, or you're full of love even though you don't have a love. You know, like I think that in order to love someone you have to be able
to show you. Can you hand me my phone?
Show her.
So my agents, they every morning in our group chat, and I love them because today they actually took initiative and I didn't have to start it. But every morning they say their affirmations and their goals for today. So
you're changing lives.
Ashley, like today, she said, today I choose happiness. I am getting better with each passing day. I am proud of myself for every effort I make to align with my best self. No matter how small, I believe in myself. I trust myself. I'm going to get myself exactly where I need to be. So getting them in the process of waking up every morning. Are you crying?
Yes, because it's like you I don't know, like to me it brings up like a lot of like shadow work I had to do as a woman, you know, and being in this industry is really hard as a woman. Like it's really male dominated. And so I think it's of like putting yourself in that platform of you're going to be judged a lot. And like, how do you remain spiritually like powerful and affirmative when you have a lot of eyes on you and a lot of people watching you? And it's just hard because you get told so many times you can't. So I had to change my mentality big time to like, no, I can't, you know.
So Oprah Winfrey says that, and I don't have the words perfectly, but she said if you don't know yourself and you don't know who you are before fame, fame will tell you who you are. And I remember when I was in fitness, I had like 20K followers on Instagram, but I would pray to God. I was like, God, if you give me a platform one day, I promise I'll use you. And he would never give it to me. And I would see everyone else having these large platforms. And even my ex-boyfriend of many years, he would always look at this girl on Instagram who had like 100,000 followers. And I would ask him, he'd be like, oh, you'll never amount to her.
Oh, wow.
So it was such a big deal for me. And now I have almost 9 times the amount as her. But I was like, why wouldn't God give me a platform back then? And it's because I didn't know who I was. I remember when I first started my platform, I was still competing. And in the time, I had been competing for 5 years. I was a nationalist. People had always told me how amazing I was at figure. But when my following grew as big as it did, people were calling me trans.
Yeah.
People were screenshotting pictures of my crotch and blowing it up and saying, oh, she's not a woman.
How dare they?
And it shocked me because I was like, I've always thought of myself as a beautiful woman. I've always worked hard in this career of fitness, and I've always been looked at in light, but now I'm looked at in a negative sight. And I didn't let it bother me. And it's even with these people who are telling me, oh, you know, you shouldn't be preaching the gospel on your platform. I recently preached about Judas and Peter.
Okay.
And when I preached that on my platform, this pastor came to me and he was like, "You're wrong. Um, Paul is not who replaced Judas." But I was so certain of the message that I was giving and what I read. I even had went to Pastor Isaiah Curry, and he had did a presentation on the same thing. So instead of getting upset with him, I sent him, I said, "Look at it in this perspective." And the enemy, because you know a lot of the negativity is the enemy, he was like, "You're not a pastor, you're not qualified, you're not this, you are wrong. Delete it off of Instagram." You know, a pastor came back to me and said, "I am so sorry. I have never even looked at it in this perspective."
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, "If you really pay attention to the Bible, the person who Peter chose to replace Judas was not who Jesus told him to pick."
Yeah.
Jesus said, "Wait."
Yeah.
Jesus picked Saul, who later was Paul.
Correct.
But he didn't look at it. He was looking at it in such a technical way. But if I didn't know who I was, if I wasn't close to God and knew that God qualified me to preach this message, I would have deleted it.
Correct. People don't understand it's like a download you get, right?
The closer, like, I know it sounds like so cliche, but Stephen Frederick says God's voice is like a whisper. Yeah. The closer you are to him, the more you hear it. And for me, I feel like he's loud because I don't listen. Like, a lot of people I can see in their lifetime, if God tells them to go straight, they can make a whole journey to like Colorado, and God will still, me, if I make the wrong turn, he's getting me back in alignment. And that's how I know my purpose is God ordained. And you just have to know who you are, and you start with the shadow work.
Amen. Because I mean, shadow work is what leads you to eventually find out those traumas and why you are reacting with that emotion, because everything is an emotion. Anger is really you sad. You know, you think you're angry, but really there's something in you that's hurting, that's not feeling validated, or wasn't heard as a child, or there's so many things that we subconsciously record in our mind as children that we think it's an issue until we really acknowledge it and recognize it. Like I remember when I was younger, my mom worked a lot, so I always had this.
Girl, mine too.
I had this issue of validation, and it took a lot of shadow work for me to do that. And one thing I do now with my kids that I make sure to do all the time is acknowledge, like really acknowledge, like affirm. Yeah. And I make my daughter like say positive things, like, you know, being in the Latina community and Hispanic in our cultures is like, oh, you're eating too much, or you're doing this too much, oh, you need to look like this, oh, you need to be this, oh, you need to be married, oh, you need to have this. I'm a single mom, and like that's hard, you know. And it's like, why aren't you married by now? You're 31, and like, you think I chose this? Like, no, like, you know, or like, you think I chose to like be single right now in this age? No, but it's like, I'm willing to wait, and I have yet to marry because I want God to be like, I saw on TikTok one thing that said, make a pact with God, and I made a pact with God on a word that I think a man is gonna say. Like he said, I saw on TikTok, you have to pick a word and talk to God and say, the guy you sent for me is gonna say this exact phrase. And I made that pact with God, and I know when I hear that phrase, that will be it. Like I know, and I know it's a little corny, but I really like, I'm really that hopeless romantic that like I really want it to be God sent. Like I really want the man I'm with to have the same passion as me as far as God, because then it's like, how can I communicate my beliefs and how I'm healing if you don't understand where it's coming from, you know? But what do you think for you as a single woman, do you want, or is the top choice for a man? What do you want out of a man? That's what I want to hear.
Oh.
Because we have everything, so it's like, what?
I don't know, because it's like, girl, I've dated my type. I've dated not my type.
Same. I'm like,
and the ones, and I've even dated like the not cute guy, and they're the ones
that
treat you the worst.
Okay, the guy that chases you forever is the worst, because once he has you, oh baby,
he does not know.
He doesn't know what to do.
Look at how Safari did Erica Mena.
Yes,
like horrible. But I think I'll know.
And he chased her for life, like.
Girl, I think I'll know my man when I feel safe to be utterly soft and vulnerable in myself. No guards, no front, no because I tell my agents, you know, my persona on social media, the Christin Rachelle is the woman who I strive to be. You know, when you set a goal and there's a certain lifestyle, you have to live that dream now. To me, my social media platform, she represents that version of me. But when you actually meet me in person, there's
You're like an angel.
the little girl that played with
Yes,
dolls
me
in my room, and you know, happy, but daddy left her at a young
Yeah.
age, and mommy worked a lot, and I'm a mama's girl to the
Yes.
T. Like my mom
Same.
is, she's all I have. But there's more to me than what you'll see. That confident badass chick on social media that you see.
She's amazing, but there's also human.
But I want to just be Kristen Hobbs with my man.
Yeah.
And I want him to see the Christin Rachelle. And of course, it's going to be the beauty and the success that originally attracts them. But I want them to see me and be like, I want to be that safe space for her to be the self person. And I feel like it's hard to have that safe space with a man right now because we get hurt and disappointed so much.
But I also want to, okay, so I went through my, with a man, like through cheating and through all those moments, you know. I also think in a way men are exposed to a lot of things that we are protected from early. Like as a girl, we're not exposed to sex and other things as soon as I think men are.
I don't know, girl. I lost my virginity at 14.
Girl, okay, fine. Okay. But there's like some men that like at 10, you know, they're already like doing things and like.
There's not an excuse.
You don't think so?
There's not an excuse.
There's not, right? Because I keep trying to give them an excuse in my head, like, oh, pobrecito.
Men know exactly what they're doing. That's why they always come back. That's why they always. I have never had not one guy come back.
Same. Two.
But I don't do double backs.
Me either, baby. You have one shot and one shot only. If I block you, I might unblock you.
I won't even block you because I want you to see. I'm going to
do that now.
I want you to see the success. I want you to see my lap. Oh, and I can't wait till I want you all.
Oh, you gonna see the success story.
And I know it's coming. Yes. But I heard you ask someone what you would tell their younger self.
Yes, I was gonna ask you.
And I think I would tell my younger self, especially in my early 20s, do not focus on relationship. Do not focus on a man. And I know I'm contradicting myself because as a woman, the older you get, the more successful you get, the harder it is to get a man.
Correct.
But I feel like if I was not so focused on love, I wouldn't be so traumatized now.
Yes. I think I put myself through those traumas.
Yes.
Like, I idolized the man and his potential so much. Like, I saw this, like, king, and he was really a soldier, you know? Like, not a king, you know? And it's like, I kept seeing him in that vision, and I could see it in him, but he couldn't see it in himself. And he was like, damn, what does she see in me? So I think now I don't want to do that for a man ever. Like, you either see yourself as a king and you're a good man and you're whole and complete, because I can't pour that into you anymore. Like, at our age, if you're not whole and complete and happy...
You can't build a dude. It's not build a bear.
It's not... it's not build a man.
if I can come to you whole, healed, complete, and ready, I genuinely believe you attract what you are. Yes. But I also believe when you are light, you attract negative things
and
too.
shadow people.
So we have to be better at discerning what's flies and what's not. Yeah. You know? And
I heard that quote, the bees don't... What is it? The bees don't. Oh wait, what is it?
You catch more honey.
Yeah.
You catch more bees with honey. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Being sweet and kind and loving.
Being yourself. And
yeah.
I think I had a trauma recently where a man thought that was me being sarcastic or like me not being myself genuinely. There's like, oh, how can you be this nice? Oh, this is fake.
I'm dealing with that too.
Girl, and I'm like.
My guy is always like, oh, I bet you're toxic. No. You prayed for me and I'm here.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I'm just happy. Yeah. And I don't like arguing. And I'm not going to blow you up because I'm too healed for that. Like, I'll call you once or twice. If you don't call me back, that's on you, homie. Like, I'm too healed. Like, I don't need to seek your validation anymore. And I think that was a game changer for me when I started validating myself and saying, no, Mimi, you're full. You're a good woman. Don't let don't let other people put their perception of you onto yourself, because it's not true. Like, what you see on social media is what I let you. Like, there's a whole nother Mimi, and I've let people more into my spiritual side because people for a moment just thought, oh, she's just sexy, there's no brain. And I'm like, there's a whole Christian woman under here. Like, don't let the sexy scare you off. And I think sometimes us sexy women and us women that are just powerful, I don't want to just use sexy because I feel like we're just powerful and it comes off like that. Because I could wear a turtleneck
and still be fine.
And still be fine. So clearly it's not, you feel me?
Yeah.
This turtleneck. This is what I would call turtleneck, by the way, but it's not. It's a crew neck. But it's so hard, and I've dated, and I'm scared to date. Like, I'm so scared. And I think it's true what you said. It's like when you least expect it, that person will come in. And, like, I'm the type where I get delusional right away. Like,
yeah.
3 days into
you just
talking,
need another man that gets delusional right away.
Yeah, right?
You just need someone to match.
Hopeless romantic.
Yeah, match your energy. And, I'm not committed, I'm not married yet, but I genuinely believe that when God puts something on your heart, he doesn't dangle fruit in front of your face and be like, gotta be quicker than that. like the commercial. I genuinely believe that God is, if he puts something on your heart, it's because he plans to fulfill it. Now, I have recently learned that when we're anxious about something, it's typically because we want to control the outcome.
Yes,
or we want to control the timeline. So if we're so anxious about our singleness and it's causing us to try to control the narrative by getting out there and putting ourselves in front of these guys, it could be the reason why we're experiencing so much disappointment versus, okay, you know what, God, I fully surrender. I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to get in my pattern of my day, and if somebody is to come, then they'll be on that timeline.
I fully surrender right now, like, seriously, because I think, I'm kind of glad you said that, because I think that's what I was going through. I was so anxious of, like, I want to find the right one, and, like, if I'm healed, why am I not attracting them yet? And then sometimes, like, to me, I really want to find a best friend. I feel like in a marriage you have to be best friends because you'll fall in and out of love. But if you're best friends and y'all are loyal to each other, y'all stick with each other. It's like, why would you ever hurt your best friend? You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I want to find. I think my mistake before was I would always rush, and I never took the time to really befriend the guy. Like, get to know him in a friendship level. Like, how are you with your family? How are you with your business? How are you with you? And recently I was able to get close to a best friend to, like, that helped me heal that trauma in men, because I never really had a male best friend. And it helped me heal that trauma a little bit in men of, like, men are capable of doing healing work too. Like, I saw it in him that men were capable of doing healing work, and, and he was doing full moons with me, and it was like, it gave me such a light and a hope, like, okay, if I could find this in him, a best friend, I know I could find it in a potential soulmate. You know what I mean? Because it's possible men have that capability of being that soft. And I think it was the first time I was able to really see someone get soft, and let down their ego. And I think men are just, some of them are really scared to be in that soft energy. And I don't understand why, but it could be their traumas too.
But we also have to remember the Bible says he who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Yeah.
So us as women, Ruth was working when Boaz found her. She wasn't going to the club. She wasn't going sitting at the bar. She wasn't on dating websites. She was working, taking care of herself, taking care of her mother-in-law, taking care of home. And Boaz found her and knew immediately her value. So I don't really think it's even really that's serious. I think if we just surrender and focus on ourselves and just accept that when the time is right, God will send him to us, we won't experience so much disappointment.
I think it just inspired me right now. I think I'm going to go home today, do my little bubble bath, and really surrender.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to surrender, and I think it's smart because not a lot of girls now know, like, it's okay to not know, or it's okay to feel alone. Like, I went to a summit recently where they talked about, like, depression in women, and, like, how as minorities, like, we feel more alone a lot of times. And I want to be able to show women, like, it's okay to feel alone as long as you know that there's healing behind that moment. Like you can be in a moment where you have to be introverted and pour a little bit into yourself and do some of that shadow work, cry. Like there's been nights where I literally just let it out and cry.
And that's okay.
That's what I want to tell people. Like it's
Yeah.
okay to cry, and a lot of people are scared. They think that they're weak, but I think there's so much power when you actually let out those emotions in you. You know,
The moment that you come to terms with the fact that life is full of ups and downs, and not just ups,
correct.
you'll do so much better with life.
Because you're flowing, you're like
Yeah.
water, you know,
Yeah.
and going with the movement.
And in my early 20s, I used to bottle up my emotions to where I would explode.
Yeah.
Now I'll give myself a day, maybe two max.
Same.
Let myself, if I feel down, I'm down. If I'm disappointed, I'm disappointed. But then, girl, on that third day, get up.
Get
and
up.
It's time to go.
Yeah, because if not, it could trickle
yeah,
down into.
and usually that's all I need.
Yeah. Same. Or I'll do like a spiritual retreat in my backyard. I'm like, let me do my little move. I do now the sound bowl I've been doing, and it's been helping me. And I have a meditation room with me and the kids. So I think in putting that into my life, and I do groundwork.
Mm-hmm.
Like lately, I've been being more with my feet on the grass, hugging trees. I've talked to a lot of butterflies and birds lately. And I know that sounds weird, but I feel like I'll get these messages like when
I feel closer to my maker.
Me too.
But I feel that way when I'm in the ocean. Like
oh my God, yes, that's why I go to the beach.
I go to Mexico at least once or twice a month.
Me too.
And
we need to go together.
Yeah, we can go.
Okay.
I'm going to Costa Rica October. You can
okay, I'm going to Costa Rica. Y'all heard it.
So anytime I'm standing in the ocean, I look at the ocean. I look at the little sand and the details. Like I was in Cabo and I saw like the mountains, and I'm just like, I'm so small compared to everything that God has created. How can I not think that He is in control of everything?
Exactly.
And why am I so anxious and worried about the outcome instead of just being? And Pastor Joel said this weekend that if we're having a tough time, whether it's dating, our business, if we feel like we're waiting on something and everyone else is getting their blessings and we're not, if we're struggling to make a certain dream or goal achievable because there's just so much pressure on us, it's because we're putting the pressure on us.
Correct.
And we were never meant
to have the pressure.
We're meant to. The moment we surrender and relax and say, God, you put this dream on my heart. You're in full control. Tell me what to do. And you just do what He says to do, not the extra things you say to do. Life will flow so much easier.
I think that's so true because it's like every vision I've had has been a download. And I get the most downloads when I'm in nature by the beach. Mm-hmm. Like I went recently to Tulum. I think right after you, or while you were in Cabo too, I was in Tulum for my birthday, and it was like that spiritual. I was in the ocean at least 4 hours with no phone. And like it felt honestly really good because I don't think we realize how much we're on technology to where my hand now is starting to
my wrist. My wrist and my eye.
And my eye. Like, I thought it was weird, but when I'm on the phone now, I feel the electromagneticness. Yeah. Like, it gets hot right here on my palm.
Well, you also don't have a case.
Yeah, I know. I should get a case and protect myself. I'm living life on the edge.
Is that the new iPhone?
I don't know, but I don't like it. I don't like the camera. Like, don't get the one that has 2. Get the one that has 3 because the quality sucks.
I have 3.
Yeah, you see, that one's better quality. I don't recommend. Here's my daughter asking me for money. Let me not get back on the phone. But I'm so excited that we were able to dive into the spiritual side. But I also know that you do own a brokerage. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about any up and coming realtors that do want to take that first step. How can they contact you? What advice do you have for a first time realtor?
So you can contact me by christinrachelle@gmail.com. Emailing me, that's the best way to reach me. Please do not DM me on Instagram because I will not see it. But my advice, because I did start my real estate career and I went to a big major brokerage like Keller Williams, and I was lost in the sauce. And I settled for apartment locating. And I wasn't successful at residential until I started on a team. So I always tell new agents, go take the commission cut. Do what you have to do for a year or two. Go work on a team. Be a team player. Learn as much as you can. Get some sales under your belt and build your knowledge, your experience, your net worth with someone who's already done it before going straight independent. and that will play a huge role. Christin Rachelle Group was a team, and then we turned into a brokerage.
I know because you got your broker's license.
Yes.
Y'all don't know how hard it is to get your broker's license. That test is no joke.
And I didn't go to college. I was in the Army, so I had to do 900 hours.
Yes,
and
I know.
I buckled down. I did the 900 hours in 4 months. Yeah, it was very expensive, and my brain was like
on overload. I can imagine.
And running the team as well. And when you're a team lead, it's a lot more work than when you're a real estate broker, because you're so hands-on, because they're working your own personal clients. But I always tell new agents, join a team. It'll help you be successful. Christin Rachelle Group is a brokerage, but we still act as if we are a team, and we're very close, and we're very much so a family. We are exclusive, so if you interview with me, it's not a automatic approval.
Yes.
We are very particular about our family and what we have going on over here. So if you do make it, you're pretty lucky.
I know, and she motivates. What the thing I love is that you pour into your agents. It's not just, I see a lot of brokerages who are very selfish and they want to be the face and they want to get all this attention, but you actually pour into them. You're trying to give them the blueprint and kind of the layout. So I really do appreciate that, because you're different from what is the normal. You know, you're really trying to see them successful. It's not just another number to you, because you could have been like these other brokers. Oh yeah, I'm adding everybody and nobody's making money. They all.
Oh, someone left my team in a very negative, backstabbing way, and started a brokerage. They have 15 agents, and neither him nor them have one sell.
Yeah.
And I had and reached out to my agents and was like, hey, leave Christin Rachelle Group and come. I was like, that's when I was like, okay, bro, now you're see really, the not so nice, the angry black woman here in a second. But one thing I learned from Christopher Sears at JPAR is we are not in a sales business. We're in a service and people's business. Yeah. And there's nothing I can tell somebody if we walk into a house they don't like and then buy it. They have to see themselves in it. It has to make sense to them. So the moment you take that salesy, lead with money mindset out of it, and you lead from, I genuinely want to help you, whether it's with my agents, whether it's with my clients, or my colleagues, you get a lot further moving with love than ill intent.
I love that. Yeah. Moving with love. Because a lot of people don't understand that, you know, people are going to try to take advantage of you, especially new agents, you know, and people are going to try to use you.
I went through that.
It's real. And I think they see this glitz and glam that they see on HGTV and Netflix and Selling Sunset. But no, there's like your open houses. You have to be available on weekends. You have to be available after hours. Like most people go see houses after they get off work. Like you're really going to have to put in the work and have that good mentality and a good team behind you. So I love that you're providing that platform for any new and upcoming agents, and it's a puzzle piece. Like they have to fit your team, and it matters what your team says. You're not just adding people that are going to make them uncomfortable, you know. So I love that. I love your platform and that you're using it for the good. And I feel like we're going to need a part 2 so bad, because I feel like there was so much more I wanted to touch on spiritual side, and on you opening your business and on the journeys we have. So I do want to do a part 2 eventually. Okay. So we're going to have to schedule that. And I want to let everyone know, we're going to end this with what is your favorite quote that has changed your life?
Oh, I have so many.
One of the favorites.
I think right now, it doesn't matter how great you think you are. It doesn't matter how great other people think you are. You can still improve, and you will.
Oof, you're forever evolving. Yeah. I love that, because a lot of people say I'm the best. I mean, no, you're always learning. Wow, self-love pouring. Oh my God. I've cried, I've laughed. It's been a whole emotional roller coaster, and I can't wait, because I know after this we're going to get a bunch of DMs, and I really do want to dive more into the spiritual side. I think we have a niche there, me and you together. So thank you guys. As always, this is Faith Over Fear. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, boo.
And catch us on Instagram, Changing Lives.